Coronavirus questions answered. This is News Channel 3 live at 6:30.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Dowd. This is part 2 of our special edition of Coronavirus Questions Answered. Tonight, we have brought together the leaders of all 9 cities in the Coachella Valley to answer some of your questions. Last night, I asked them about the economic fallout from the pandemic and the roadmap to recovery. And tonight, there is a lot more to talk about. And here they are. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are dedicating tonight's entire half-hour program to hearing from each of you about the impact the coronavirus has had on your city and what your plans are for the future. Obviously, each of the 9 cities in the Coachella Valley are unique in dealing with this crisis in different ways. But before we get to that, I'd like to begin by introducing each of you. There are 9 of you, so please nod your heads when I say your name. Palm Springs Mayor Jeff Coors, Cathedral City Mayor John Aguilar, Desert Hot Springs Mayor Scott Mattis, Rancho Mirage Councilmember Charlie Townsend, Palm Desert Mayor Gina Nestandi, Indian Wells Mayor Ty Peabody, La Quinta Mayor Linda Evans, Indio Mayor Glenn Miller, and Coachella Mayor Stephen Hernandez. All right, tonight I'd like to start by asking each of you about what you think the biggest challenges have been in dealing with this pandemic in your city beyond just the economic, and how do you plan to address those challenges? Let's start with Palm Springs Mayor Jeff Coors.
Putting aside the economic challenges, the rest of the challenges are, people's health, their well-being, including their mental health. This is an incredibly challenging time. People feel isolated. It's hard not to see family and friends. So many people, their livelihood has gone away, businesses that have worked so hard, and I know that's economic, but it has an emotional toll as well. The importance of, addressing domestic violence and working to get hotel rooms, which we're doing currently to help people have a place to stay safely, and working with the county on a voucher program and shelters to make sure our homeless have a place to go. So there are a lot of really important issues like that we're all dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Cathedral City Mayor John Aguilar.
Yes, we're in a very challenging state right now, as all of us are, and the council has taken some steps to try to get at the root of where families are really hurting and what we can do to help them. And one of the ways that we've tried to help them is we've passed an ordinance. Other cities have done the same thing, that would place a moratorium on evictions for an indefinite period of time, so that families who are struggling, who have notices of eviction that are related to the COVID-19 epidemic, may have a different path or corridor not to find themselves in a place of being homeless. So that's really important as well, and that's one of the key areas that we're going to be trying to help folks in. But the other area, I think most of you know that I sit on the board of directors for Shelter from the Storm, and we've seen an increase in calls in domestic violence incidences, and so that's sad, and I think addressing the mental health component of this is going to be really equally important.
Desert Hot Springs Mayor Scott Mattis.
Thank you, Peter. I think it changes daily. It's a challenge every day depending on what the need is. And right now, our need is food for our food programs. We have a good reserve of food, but not proteins. So we've been working with our local food banks on making sure proteins are out to our residents, along with sanitary items. As people hoard items, there's not a lot out there. Our senior shut-ins are the ones that are hurting the worst. So we're working with our faith-based organizations and our food programs and our senior center to produce packages for the homeless and the shut-ins to make sure they have the sanitary items they need, and working to get more proteins out there to the public.
Rancho Mirage Councilmember Charlie Townsend.
Yes, well, what we have done, we have opened up, I think we have the most golf courses. So we've opened up the golf courses for people to play. That's one of the biggest things. Of course, our businesses, our restaurants, we have 65 restaurants that are closed. And we took $400,000 for our reserve, and we have distributed that to 35 restaurants as of today, ranging from $6,000 to $8,000 reimbursement to them. So we are really in constant contact with our businesses, the river and the atrium, and we of course sponsor the homeless and the food banks for people who need that. So we're really out there doing everything we can.
Palm Desert Mayor Gina Nestandi.
Yes, it's been a daily challenge with all of our small business owners and employees. I get so many phone calls asking for help. When can we reopen? Many businesses have not been able to get loan assistance, and they don't know where their next paycheck is coming from. And I just worry about all those folks. And also, I had a pastor call me yesterday. So many people put their hope in going to church. And right now, people can't even go to church to find solace. So I just look forward to slowly being able to reopen our economy in a safe way.
Indian Wells Mayor Ty Peabody.
We're sort of in a unique position. We're about half Canadian and half Northwest. So our population is not very large right now. We don't have some of the unfortunate issues that some of these other cities do. My concern, obviously, working with Glenn and Gina and Linda on the golf, was that people weren't getting out. They weren't getting exercise. And it was sort of contrary when you see people walking right next to each other, but they can't get in a golf club. The focus right now for us is to help the Living Desert get through their issues and get them open. But I think the sooner we get some of these things done, the better. I did go through the PPP program and was successful. I found that it's amazing that the federal government could actually do a program correctly. And for those that have gotten it, my concern is the big companies don't need it. It's the small individual operators, and we need to concentrate and focus on that.
La Quinta Mayor Linda Evans.
Thank you. I think the biggest challenge when this all hit was adjusting the way we do business. We have the fortunate sense of having a lot of technology in the city of La Quinta. So our city hall was able to function and still continue to operate remotely. Our adaptability to that was great. But I agree with Mayor Coors, the emotional component is really key to health and safety as we roll this out. We're such a health and well-being community, very active, very volunteer oriented. And number one, I want to thank the residents for complying. The ones that were still skeptical, hopefully that a little bit of enforcement helped them to realize that if we can flatten the curve, the quicker we get back to what we like to do. And it's that balance between the golf component and why that was a restriction versus hiking or cycling or running. And on my healthcare side, we're worried about making sure we have the right PPE and enough ventilators in our healthcare system throughout the valley in the event there was a surge. So the challenge is really health and safety oriented and making sure we've got that communication, education. We did a massive effort on our website to try to get information and facts out to our residents as much as possible.
Indio Mayor Glenn Miller.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges from, economics part of it to the health and well-being of all our residents. I think as quick as we can get our businesses back open and get people back to normalcy will be good for them. The city of Indio, we tried to get a lot of information. We're using a lot of our funds to provide information up on our indio.org website, but we're also the second seat of the county. So we have all the community services here. We have the rescue mission. We have Find Food Bank, and it's getting the support to them to be able to support the whole valley is kind of the biggest challenge that we have, because it's overwhelming some of the systems that we have here in Indio. And we're looking forward to getting this back to normal. And I think once that happens, it'll help with people's mental health, but also at the same time, physical and ability to get them back to work will have a big part of that.
And Coachella Mayor Stephen Hernandez.
I think the biggest issue has been for us is to ensure that we can protect our essential workers. A lot of our residents are still working. They're working in agriculture, they're working in construction. We had one case, for example, where out of one business, 15 Coachella residents got sick with COVID. So we as a city have been communicating with these businesses. We have been communicating with labor. We've been communicating with the private sector to ensure that they implement standards and protocols as well as guidelines that will protect our essential workers. So that has been a challenge because there has been a huge lack of PPEs, of personal protective equipment. And sometimes, some businesses are slow to change. But nonetheless, we are making some inroads there, and we hope to continue to make those inroads as this new normal develops.
All right, thank you, everyone. My next question for all of you is about the future. If and when everything can finally reopen, What do you think will still be different? Please keep your answers to less than 10 seconds. Let's start with Desert Hot Springs Mayor Scott Mattis.
Well, that's a big question, Peter, is what will be different? I don't think any of us know. As this time goes on, we're just going to have to go with what the new norm is. And so I don't know if there's an answer to that yet.
Indio Mayor Glenn Miller.
I think the biggest part is getting people to socialize and get back to the activities. With the COVID-19 issues that they've had, it's kind of distanced us, and trying to get people to feel comfortable about getting back into work and to church and other organizations is going to be a big issue.
Rancho Mirage Councilmember Charlie Townsend.
Well, I think what has been said is really true so far as it comes to that. But the big issue is the restaurants and how we're going to deal and working with each other in a restaurant or just out there shopping and getting back to a normal pace with everything that we do.
Palm Desert Mayor Gina Nistandi.
I think the biggest challenge is going to be a slow economy. Once we reopen, people are still going to be afraid to perhaps come out, and businesses have lost a lot of revenue. So it's going to be a slow recovery, and the sooner we can get people back to work, the easier it will be on all of us and our lives. And again, I'd like to just end with, it's not about lives versus money. It's about lives versus lives. And as we push people into poverty, it is shown your life expectancy goes down. So I just hope to get things going as soon as it's safe and open for business.
Indian Wells Mayor Ty Peabody.
I think it's going to be a very slow process. All of our hotels, like the other cities, all the hotels are closed.
Okay, I think that one.
Restaurants are closed, and it's going to be a process, and it's going to take time. It's going to take a big marketing effort by like CVB to get out, because people aren't going to go on cruises for a while. They aren't going to go on airplanes for a while. So you have an opportunity to try to draw local people from San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, to come to the valley versus going to some of these other places. That's probably our biggest hope. But I'm not encouraged it's going to happen quickly.
La Quinta Mayor Linda Evans.
Thank you. What I see will not be happening will be congregate church gatherings, large gatherings, events, probably sports activities, possibly schools longer than we expected through the summer, travel, short-term vacation rentals, hotel stays. Those seem to be at the bottom of our list in terms of our discussions as the last to come back, to ensure that we've met those safety standards within our own community and our locals to be healthy.
Coachella Mayor Stephen Hernandez.
I think that we need to just be honest that the next few years are going to be difficult until we can develop a vaccine, until we can develop herd immunity. I think life as we know it is going to change, and you're going to see a lot of social distancing. You're going to see a lot of people covering their face. But until we can, again, develop a vaccine, a lot's going to be different in the Coachella Valley.
Palm Springs Mayor Jeff Coors.
Yeah, and I think what Mayor Hernandez said is right on point. A lot's going to depend on, do we have a vaccine? Once we have adequate testing and we know what percentage have antibodies and whether that's going to protect people is going to dictate a lot of this. But it's not going to be fast. It's going to be slow. And I think the ideas, and we have a reopening business committee, but it's not to decide when we reopen. We're going to have to wait for the state on that. But it is to really start being ready for it. We need to be planning, and I think as a valley with the CVB and with our Bureau of Tourism, to have marketing campaigns that are more locally focused. I think that's exactly right. People aren't going to be traveling as far and coming here from as far, but people are still going to want to go somewhere and get outside. And so I think that's going to be the key part, but it's not going to happen overnight.
And Cathedral City Mayor John Aguilar.
Yes, I would concur with the points everyone has made. I mean, this is not going to turn on a dime, and people need to understand that when our businesses start to open, and we look forward to that day, that there's going to be I think a rather lengthy ramp period, and our businesses are going to need all the help they can get. And right now, they're not getting it. So one of my goals is to do more to try to help them get that help to get them over that hump.
All right, thank you, everyone. Coming up, we'll be asking these leaders if our cities are prepared for the possibility of the pandemic lasting through the end of the year or beyond. Their reaction to a new warning from the CDC director.
It's good to see you back on your feet after your accident.
It's been tough. Insurance adjusters harassing me.
You know, there's one lawyer you can trust to help you through this.
Well, you know who I called. Well, of course, Barry Rieger.
Call the law office of Barry Rieger. Experience you can trust.
What we do now will forever change our tomorrow. So let's do the right thing today. Let's stay at home. Let's wash up. Let's always keep our distance. Please, 6 feet apart at least. Let's look after ourselves as well as others. It will all be worth it. We can all do our part, so those on the front line can do their part. And when this is over, we will all continue to thrive.
In this time of social distancing, when taking a break from everyday life is critical to everyone's health, there is one thing we can all do together: complete the 2020 census. Your responses are critical to plan for the next 10 years of healthcare, infrastructure, and education. Let's make a difference together by taking a few minutes to go online to 2020census.gov. It's for the well-being of your community and will help shape America's future.
Are you or a loved one concerned you may have prostate cancer? If so, talk to us first before you undergo any biopsy or treatment procedure. Invasive or aggressive procedures may not be the most effective solution and can often lead to serious side effects like incontinence or erectile dysfunction, pain, bleeding, heart attack, or stroke. Let our experienced state-of-the-art technologies preserve your greatest quality of life.
I'm Dr. David Schreiber. Call Desert Prostate Specialist in Rancho Mirage today at 760-536-4400 to learn more about your treatment options.
The McCallum Theater 2020-2021 season is on sale now. The world's top artists, from jazz, pop, and dance to the best of Broadway, at the Desert's cherished home for entertainment for more than 30 years. Tickets are available now online, only at McCallumTheater.com. We'll be back again, better than ever, with a new exciting season, only at the McCallum. We can't wait to see you. In the meantime, please stay safe and healthy.
It's good to see you back on your feet after your accident.
It's been tough. Insurance adjusters harassing me.
You know, there's one lawyer you can trust to help you through this.
Well, you know who I called. Well, of course, Barry Rieger.
Call the law office of Barry Rieger. Experience you can trust.
First Alert Weather brought to you by Comfort Air. They're #1 for a reason.
Welcome back to this special edition of Coronavirus Questions Answered with leaders from all 9 cities of the Coachella Valley. Mayors, the director of the CDC is warning that a second wave of coronavirus cases could be worse than the first, and that this winter there is a possibility we may have to confront a flu and coronavirus epidemic at the same time. How concerned are you about this, and what would that do to each of our cities? And also, are you preparing for the possibility this whole thing may not be over until next year? Let's start with someone who's pretty outspoken about all this and actually wrote an editorial called Governor Newsom, It Is Time for Us to Get Back to Work. Palm Desert Mayor Gina Nistandi.
I believe that we are going to have to learn to live with the coronavirus. It's not going to go away. Hopefully it will sooner rather than later. And I am very optimistic with the herd immunity studies that Stanford and USC have performed. And there's more and more studies like this going on. And it appears that it's going to be the antibody test that can perhaps help us all recover from this coronavirus outbreak.
Palm Springs Mayor Jeff Coors.
You know, obviously, a second wave of this, coupled with the flu, would be devastating to people's health, to our economies. And the most important thing is that the hospitals are prepared. They did such a great job this time, and thanks to everyone stepping up. We never got the surge at the level where they couldn't handle everyone. And that's going to be the most important thing that we're going to need to all make sure happens. And we're really glad that Mayor Evans is involved in that, because that's a key priority for all of us, I think.
Cathedral City Mayor John Aguilar.
Thank you. It may be inevitable that we're going to be experiencing that catastrophic problem with both of those factors, but we will continue to follow the advice of the medical field and follow their direction. And also we look to other countries that have implemented practices that have really helped them to flatten the curve, and we should do the same.
Desert Hot Springs Mayor Scott Mattis.
Thank you, Peter. I concur with Mayor Aguilar. It's something that we just have to continue to watch. We are all preparing for this to be long-term. We've been told there's not a vaccine yet. And so we have to continue to just pre-plan for what's going to possibly take place with the new norm over the next year.
Rancho Mirage Councilmember Charlie Townsend.
Well, we are learning every day. We are learning every day of what is going to unfold. And I know that what is in front of us, we are learning, and we'll learn from this. And the best thing is that these 9 cities in the Coachella Valley, we are all working together in this brotherhood of making sure that we all make the right decisions for all of our citizens.
Indian Wells Mayor Ty Peabody.
And my big concern is if this were to continue on, then we're faced with something that I'm not even sure that we're all ready to handle. I think all of our cities should be very prudent on how they spend money over the next 6 months to a year. And if you don't need to do a project, don't do it, because the money may be needed. And I would just caution everybody, be as conservative as you can and only do projects that you can really do right now without draining your general fund or your reserve.
La Quinta Mayor Linda Evans.
Thank you. I don't want to see the CDC projections to be a fear factor for our public as a whole. We looked at data, trends, and statistics of what was happening across the United States, and we took action in Riverside County quickly, and so did the state of California, and we were able to help flatten that curve. Knowing what we have now to be proactive, we need to face this like any other flu season. The hospitals went through an outstanding exercise during this process, and with practicing social distancing and masks and hand washing techniques, that's always the best way to fight off a virus. We need to be vigilant on that effort.
Indio Mayor Glenn Miller.
Yeah, we're prepared. The city of Indio, we're looking what we can do for now and in the future, not only financially, but also what we can do for informational wise. So we're working with many agencies, including Golden Voice, who's looking to hopefully have their concerts very shortly. So we're going to look at this, hope for the best, and we're going to plan for the worst. And we feel we'll get through this with all the support of the other cities and the agencies here to continue to move forward.
And Coachella Mayor Stephen Hernandez.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable that we are going to be dealing with COVID for the next few years. So I think it's important that we continue to educate our residents about how to properly keep themselves safe. I think at the same time, us as governments need to ensure that we're supporting efforts from the state, from the county, to make sure that there's testing, to make sure that there's contact tracing, as well as to make sure that our hospital systems do not get inundated. I think if we can do those things, that we're going to be just fine in terms of our response in the Coachella Valley.
Thank you, everyone. When we come back, our leaders share their final thoughts, what they want you to know. You're watching a special edition of Coronavirus Questions Answered on News Channel 3, the Desert's news leader.
We know what you see on the news these days can sometimes be scary.
That's why we focused on the information you need to stay safe.
You can trust News Channel 3 to give you the facts.
And we have your back when it comes to local emergencies.
Trust the Desert's news leader who's been giving you the facts for over 50 years.
Morning and night, we work to deliver you the news you need to stay safe in a time like this.
That's why the Desert's news leader is more than who we are. It's a promise from us to you.
Every one of us is returning to that most precious sanctuary, home. And so we offer this humble gesture, free delivery, however long is necessary, only through the Postmates app.
You don't have to live with chronic pain.
I enjoy working out. I injured both my knees and my left shoulder. It was getting in the way of my working out. I visited Dr. Reinhardt, and within 2 weeks, I was back in the gym working out, pain-free.
I was in horrendous pain, called Dr. Reinhardt, got an appointment that day. He diagnosed my problem, and I left feeling like my old self again.
Call 341-2360 now for an immediate appointment. Dr. Reinhardt treats pain like an emergency. Call 341-2360 now.
We've seen a lot of changes in our valley over the last month. Hi, I'm Paul McKenna, General Manager at Crystal Chrysler. We are taking enormous precautions to safeguard our customers and our employees during these challenging times. We are still open, however, we have adjusted our hours. You are always welcome to call and make an appointment anytime. Our service department remains open and fully operational. Our service staff wears gloves and masks to ensure a safe environment for everybody. We provide protective covers for your steering wheel and also sanitizing any touch points in your vehicle. We sanitize all cars prior to pickup and delivery. And as you would expect, we are sanitizing all areas of the dealership as well. We also provide convenient pickup and drop-off service to make your experience as comfortable as possible. For your convenience, you can set up a sales or service appointment 24/7 at crystalchrysler.com. At Crystal Chrysler in the Cathedral City Auto Center, we are here to make life a little easier. We're here for you.
What are you doing? Wash your hands!
I shower twice a day and wash my hands as often as I can.
And so do I.
Many of us are new to the challenge of working from home, so El Pollo Loco is here to help. The $20 Familia Dinner with free delivery, however long is necessary, only through the Postmates app.
Closed captioning brought to you by Brad Schmidt Real Estate Group. More homes sold than any other agent in the Palm Springs area. Exclusively endorsed by Barbara Corcoran.
Welcome back to our special edition of Coronavirus Questions Answered. Before we go, I'd like each leader to quickly share their final thoughts on this pandemic and the recovery and what you would like everyone in your communities to know right now. Please keep your answers to less than 15 seconds. Let's start with Palm Springs Mayor Jeff Coors.
I'm just so grateful for all the frontline employees, people at the grocery stores, our public safety officials who've really stepped up and done such an amazing job. And just everyone, stay safe and be kind. There are people who are working so hard and it's a stressful time, so be kind to one another. We're going to get through this. We all work together.
Cathedral City Mayor John Aguilar.
Yes, I would echo Mayor Coors' comments also that people should know that your mayors and council members and city teams are working very hard to keep everyone safe and to try to get us back to a new normal as soon as possible. Please stay safe. Check our websites for information and be well.
Desert Hot Springs Mayor Scott Mattis.
Thank you, Peter. I just want to thank our constituents in Desert Hot Springs throughout the Coachella Valley for doing what they've done. Desert Hot Springs, 28 cases, and that's a testament to you staying home, being safe. We are in this together.
Rancho Mirage Councilmember Charlie Townsend.
Well, of course, we want our lifestyle back, and I want to say thank you to all the Rancho Mirage citizens who have worked with us and understand what we're trying to do. And the best thing is, remember that these 9 cities are all working together to keep you safe and to get back to being a normal life.
Palm Desert Mayor Gina Nistandi.
I too want to thank all our healthcare workers, grocery store workers who've been doing everything they can to keep us all safe and fed, and also the residents of Palm Desert. Thank you for cooperating, and I know we are going to get through this, and we're going to get through this together and better, and our city is here for you.
Indian Wells Mayor Ty Peabody.
Yeah, I want to thank our residents. We've had 10 cases and no deaths, and we haven't had anything for the last 3 weeks. And I'd like to also ask all of the residents of the Valley to please continue to wear the mask, continue to wash your hands, do the right thing. You're doing it not only for yourself, but for everybody. Thank you.
La Quinta Mayor Linda Evans.
I'd like to first thank our healthcare workforce throughout the Valley and the frontline folks that are essential workers, our first responders, and the volunteers in our community. Our city staff has been amazing. Our residents have wanted to know how they can help. And I just want to implore everybody to continue to practice safe and healthy methods to ensure that we get through this, because we all are in this together.
Indio Mayor Glenn Miller.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone, the cities, all our government agencies, our first responders, our hospitals, our volunteers for helping us get through this. We're going to get through this together. Continue to wear your mask, continue to do the things that will keep you safe, your family safe, and those around us that's safe at the same time. God bless all of you, and thank you for all you do.
And Coachella Mayor Stephen Hernandez.
Yeah, I too would like to thank all of our residents. We know how much of a financial impact this has had on you. We know how much of a mental and physical health impact this has had on you. And but nonetheless, it's because of you, we are finding the curve here in the Coachella Valley. And we are a resilient people. We will bounce back and our economy will get back to normal here in Coachella Valley.
Thanks to all of you so much for joining us here on Coronavirus Questions Answered. This was informative and interesting. Of course, we will continue answering viewer questions each day here on CBS Local 2 on News Channel 3. Good night.